Harlan's through, he may go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot, what a goal!
Arriving Rian O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score Armagh were looking for.
Conor Turbitt kicks this one in, oh that's absolutely superb.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. You're welcome to our preview show and we're looking ahead at another massive weekend of senior championship action. Unfortunately, we're just going to look at the senior championship this week because there's so many games on, it's hard to cover everything. So I'm just going to look at the senior championship and our review show at the weekend. Our roundup will discuss the intermediate and the junior. I'm delighted to be joined by Barry O'Hagan and he's going to help me look ahead to all the action this week. And Barry, I suppose, how's things with you after Armagh winning All Ireland? It's a short turnaround, just straight into club action.
It is great, Sean. A great couple of weeks. I think no doubt there was no doubt the county was going to go mad, but I don't even think we expected it to go as mad as it did. I think it was just that outpouring of emotion because that group of players and management team had such bad luck the last 3 years, penalty shootouts and a bounce of a ball here and a bounce of a ball there. The minute the goal went in against Kerry, I just got the sense that our name was on it. Sometimes you hear that saying, and I know it's all right to say that in hindsight, but I just felt that we had momentum and we were getting the rub of the green. So it was brilliant. I'm sure it's difficult for the players, obviously. They celebrated hard for the guts of a week, and then a lot of them went on holidays for a week or maybe less, and then they're back in the train with their clubs. It is hard to come back down and after such high, as winning All Ireland. But, I think they probably appreciate getting back into the routine again, and days gone past when it was over. Your club season could have been over if you were out of the championship, so probably the way they are in terms of being athletes now, they're probably glad to be back in their routine and training. And I think there's something about the championship at senior level this year in Armagh, on the back of the Sam Maguire success. A lot of teams are maybe think, well, county men, it's open and they have an opportunity to maybe to have a real push and a cut at winning the thing.
I think, is it the most open championship in a while, Barry? Because as you say, probably there's maybe 5, 6, 7 teams looking at this going, if they get a good draw or if they can top their group or whatever, if circumstances go their way, that they could go all the way here.
It's the most open I can remember since Cross probably took over around, I think they beat us in the final in 96. We won it 93, 94 around that time. Mullabon won it 95, and there was maybe 5 or 6 teams that could win it around that time. And I would agree with you, Sean. Look, Cross are still, Cross come the knockout stage and the business end will still be the favourites. You've Clonerne. I'd probably have Cullyhan in there as third favourites, and not that it'd be a dark horse. I think they have a hell of a chance if they can get all their players out fit. And then probably ourselves, Madden, the Harps, maybe, all similar, probably all vying for that top 4 spot, so it gets very open, but you could make an argument for most of those teams to win it. And Mahri, I don't know if Mahri are completely out of the reckoning yet. They get their 3 county men all back on the pitch, and I think they play Clonerne at home maybe at the weekend. And, so maybe 6 teams, 7 teams have a realistic shot at giving the thing a push.
Yeah, it's definitely it's exciting. As I said in last week's pod, I probably have Clonerne as the favourites, but as you said, it was seen last year, Clans, that nobody gave Clans a chance in the semi-final and they ended up beating Clonerne. So there's about 6 teams, 7 teams I think can all beat each other. But we'll get into previewing the action. We'll start with Group A. We have 2 games coming up this week. We have Cleavey and Cullaville. It's live on Armagh TV on Saturday evening, and on Cullyhan and Silverbridge then also. I think that's on Saturday evening as well. So they're both live on Armagh TV. Just a bit of breaking news this evening. Barry was talking to the offer about it, that Steve McDonald has taken over at Cleavey. Kieran Lynch from the Newry Reporter broke this evening, and they parted ways with their manager, I think, on Monday. So Stevie has come in. He's taken the reins at Cleavey. I suppose you share the dressing room with Stephen McDonald, Barry. You know all about him. What will he offer now in the short space he has before a game?
Well, it's a big help. He's a club man, so I've no doubt that he's seen all those lads coming through their underage setup in Killeavy. But look, Stevie has a wealth of experience. He was Ironman under 21s. He's with Burren, with Paddy O'Rourke for a couple of years, and he was also managing Clonoe, you know, cutthroat Tyrone Championship. So Stevie has plenty of experience, and you know, it was a really embarrassing defeat for Killeavy last weekend, you know, against Cullyhanna. I know Cullyhanna are a damn good side, but you know, when you're getting beat by 15 or 16 points, you know, that's a lot on the players. You know, there's only so much a manager can do, but if you're getting beat by 15 or 16 points, players need to take a good hard look at themselves. And no doubt what Stevie was trying to get is just to get a reaction from those guys. You know, I don't think he'll even be targeting winning the game. He'd just be looking at performance out of them and get a bit of pride back in the jersey. And then look, if they can get a victory, then you never know what can happen. You know, wee bit of momentum and get a good draw on the knockout stage. You never know, but they'll just be looking to get a performance and get a bit of pride back in the jersey at the weekend.
I suppose that could be an issue in all the groups that we're going to talk about, Barry. Just the teams that lost the first round, you're sort of immediately on the back foot now, and you're nearly in must-win territory in this round too.
Yeah, and that's why I really like the format of the Armagh Championship last year. It was very enjoyable, big crowds at it. There was a bit of jeopardy in most games. I think, apart from Mullabon, everybody had something to play for in the last round of games last year. And the way the results have panned out the first day, you probably expect that'll be the same come the third round of games this year. So I really like it because there's something on every game, and you know, you have to win your first game, but if you don't, then big game face. But I just think the setup. I'm looking at outside of Tyrone, that's knockout, Donegal, Derry, they're playing 7, 8, 9 games, you know, in championship before it gets to knockout, and it's not really championship. So I think Armagh have to be commended, the county board. I think they've got it right. The way they've won B teams as well, have 2 home games, it gives you a wee bit of an advantage, certainly playing in front of your home support. So I think it's very good, and I think I'm really looking forward to the second and third round of games. There's some tasty fixtures in there.
We're talking about tasty fixtures with Cullyhanna on Silver Bridge. Both had good wins the first day. I suppose just on Cullyhanna, but about their big win over Killeavy. They're still missing a few key men that I don't know if they're going to be back this week or if they're going to be back for any championship football, but their victory certainly caught the eye last week.
Indeed, and to do that without 3 of their stalwarts of their All-Ireland winning team, you know, Mickey Murray, Bowie, and big midfielder
Pierce Casey.
You know, probably pound for pound at club level, the best midfielder in the county. You know, in the counties, very few get the better of him. You know, that made that victory all more impressive, and I'm led to believe those guys won't be back until at least the knockout stages. So probably evens it up a wee bit, but I do fancy Cullyhanna to beat the Bridge. I think if you go back, their local rivals, I don't think there'll be a lot of love lost between the two clubs. Been a few rows over the years at different stages in the championship, and I think Cullyhanna have always had the Indian sign over Silver Bridge, and I expect that to continue at the weekend.
I think the Bridge, by just going on the first round, they scored 3 goals, and just looking at a few of their players, they seem to be young, fresh, fit. The likes of Sean Rock, Sean Conlon, Tiernan Murphy, Charlie O coming back into that. They do carry a goal threat, and that's probably something Cullyhanna's going to have to note.
They do. I looked at them last year. Was it Madden beat them well, Sean?
I think Madden beat them in the first round, yeah.
And then they had a very convincing victory then maybe against the Harps or something like that, you know. So they were looking impressive last year. But they were very disappointing the night I seen them in the quarterfinal. Was the quarterfinal against Clonard? I was very disappointed with them that night. So maybe they'll have learned from that.
It's probably tough to know by that, you know, a team like Silverbridge, they seem to be just on the up on no league form without your county men and everything. But to finish third in Division 1A, that has probably give them a bit of a boost heading into the championship too. Yeah,
I would imagine so. And as you say, with that infusion of youth there, those players you mentioned, have a couple of other young lads within their team and good steady heads like Charlie Oak and a couple of the older generation as well. So they definitely have plenty of ability throughout their team, and they did really well in 1B last year. They've done well in 1A. But as I say, I've still that doubt about them. I think they've loads of ability, and no one will fancy playing them. But I was very disappointed with them last year against Clonerne. But I think if they could get a win against Cullyhanna, who a lot of people, are seeing as the dark horses for this championship, maybe that could give them the push and the confidence they need. And then if you go on top of the group, you get a 3-week break. It lets you prepare who you're playing in the quarterfinal, and then once you get to that stage, you never know.
Yeah, that's a huge game. I think I backed Cullyhanna last week to top the group, so I'll back them to go one better this week and make it 2 in a row. Into Group 3 or Group B rather. Sorry, Barry. We have Greenmore and Clans. They're playing on Saturday night, live on Armagh TV, and Sarsfields and Crossmaglen they play on Sunday, and that's also going to be live on Armagh TV. Clonagale, Barry, a brilliant win last week over Crossmaglen. I know you're maybe going to echo the thoughts of Soupy Campbell after the game. He said it was great to win the game, but it's only the first round of the championship. It wasn't a county final, so I don't think the Clans will be getting too carried away with themselves yet.
No, I don't look, and in the context of winning a championship and that, Sean, I don't think it will have any bearing on it. I just think within the Clans dressing room, they needed to win that game. We're away at Greenmore this weekend, and that's a very, very difficult fixture for us. Big physical team. There's very few people, very few teams come out of Greenmore with anything easy. So I think if we hadn't beat Cross last week, then you're coming into the second game, a tough away game, and then you could be staring 2 defeats in the face. So I just think for the evolution of that Clans team, probably surprised even people within the club last year, getting to a county final. We had a great run. We've done extremely well in 1B this year to come out of it up to 1A without the 2 county lads who are huge for us, and we'd always 3 or 4 missing most games. So it was a very good league campaign, but I just think we needed to win that for the team's evolution. That's not to say we're ready or anywhere close to ready to win a senior championship, but I just think we had 3 18-year-olds in the pitch and 3 19-year-olds in the pitch on Sunday past, and they need that experience of getting victories against the like of Crossmaglen and Clonerne last year, the top 2 teams, and I just think it's a process with us. But it was a bigger game for us than it was for Crossmaglen. All the rumours that the 2 O'Neills were only back from holidays during the week, and they were carrying a couple of injuries. We were nearly full strength, minus maybe Diarmuid Loney. So it was a bigger game for us, a home game, and we needed to set down a marker. Particularly what happened in the county final last year. The lads wouldn't have been happy with their last 20-minute performance, but we were only a point up or down when we had a man put off for Blackyard. So I think they learned plenty from that, but look, there's a long way to go, and I know if we met later in the knockout stages in a couple of months' time, it would be a very, very different game we face. But you have to be happy with the lads, the way they've improved over the last year. Some of them lads are maybe only playing senior football 16 months, and they're really, really progressing and driving the team and have drove the team in the absence of Shane and Stefan. And
just on Greenmore then, Barry, I know we had mentioned Greenmore is a notoriously difficult place to go to. Obviously, I think they beat Clonerne in Greenmore, and that was the only game Clonerne have lost all season. So I think that speaks volumes of how big home advantage could be this weekend. But there's going to be different matchups on who marks Stefan, who marks Shane. But a matchup I wanted to talk to you about was Brendan Boylan. Usually plays midfield for Greenmore. He drifted into full forward against Sarsfields, and he scored 1-2. So I think him and Aaron McCrainer could have a good old-fashioned sort of battle on the edge of the square if that head works out.
Yeah, well, in terms of Aaron McCrainer, he actually prefers a big target man, a big strong man coming in, because he's well able for the physical exchanges. That probably suits his style of play. It's more the smaller, more nimble inside forwards that he probably is a wee bit more comfortable with. But I had a full faith in him in terms of the way he's been playing the last 3 or 4 games, and look, he'll get plenty of protection around him, so he will. But I'm not so sure if Greenmore will be able to afford to keep Boylan in there, Sean, because winning primary possession against our midfield and our middle 8 is a difficult enough job for a lot of teams. So I think you might have to see him out there at various stages of the game.
And obviously the second game in that group then, Barry, is going to be Sarsfields hosting Crossmaglen. Having been beaten last week, Sarsfields, as we'd mentioned in the first group, they're immediately on the back foot, and they're probably facing a wounded animal here in Crossmaglen.
Yeah, and look, you know, they've had a lot of players missing all year, a lot of their main players. They took a lot of heavy beatings in Division 1B. I think we maybe beat them in David Park about 30 points. You know, it's which is unusual for a Sarsfields team. They are struggling with numbers at the minute, and while they're notoriously difficult to beat down in Trasna, you know, can only see one result there, and I expect Cross to come back all guns blazing and to put a considerable score on the board down there.
Yeah, I'm going with that as well. I think Cross they beat Sarsfields well in Sarsfields last year in the group stages, so I probably expect something similar this time around. Group C then we have Mahary against Clonerne on Saturday evening. That's the main event on Armagh TV on Saturday, and we have Madden hosting St Peters on Sunday. Both again live on Armagh TV. So this one, Barry, I suppose business as usual in the first round for Clonerne. It wasn't as big a margin of victory over St Peters as it was last year, but still fairly convincing. And they got game time into Conor Turbett and Barry Cambridge off the bench. And I think there's still a few men to come back as well. So Clonerne, they're just maybe easing into this championship a wee bit.
Yeah, it just shows you the strength of their squad, that they can leave the two lads on the bench and still win a local derby away from home by 11 or 12 points. But look, they did beat St Peters convincingly last year, probably more convincing, and I was expecting that sort of scoreline the other day. I think probably I would agree with you, Clonerne possibly be out there as favourites just based on their league form the last couple of years. I know we beat them last year in the championship, but you take out the local rivalry out of that, and you know, tradition and all that. They definitely seem to be the form team. I actually think, you know, the big strength and depth that they have probably can go against them sometimes. You know, it's all right having, you know, 24, 25 players at the same level, but I think you need to have a consistent starting 15 and keep them on the field unless there's injury or things aren't going well for a good part of the game. And, you know, if you have this thing in your head about bringing 5 subs on at various stages, you know, sometimes you can get caught up in that. But look, it's a good problem to have for them. But I would definitely agree with you, Sean. I think they're slight favourites now for the thing. But I think it's a very, very difficult task to have on Saturday against Mahary. Everyone knows how difficult Mahary are to play at home. And the 3 county men back, who are 3 huge physical men, and they will not be easy to play against. Stephen Falker, he's 38 or 39, but he's still playing very well, still kicking points for fun. Young Pádraig O'Keefe, Kevin Robinson, you know, very, very, very good forwards. You know, that could be that's a bit of a banana skin for Clonerne. You know, I wouldn't like to call it. You would expect Clonerne to come through, but it wouldn't surprise me if Mahary could get a result.
Yeah, I want to talk to you a bit about Ben Creeley too, Barry, because obviously we've seen the form he was in with Armagh all year, and kicked 2 points in the All-Ireland final. He kicked 3 last week against Mahary, against Mod, and he kicked 2 and fisted 1 at the end. But he won 2 marks, which if you're looking a big target man to go inside the 45 for a mark, he's the man, isn't he?
He's a huge man, and I think a couple of the games this year, maybe the Ulster final, he kicked a couple of points, played very well, then right through the knockout stages. And when he got to Croke Park, I think he's playing with a lot of confidence. Maybe I know he had various injury problems over the years and never got a good run of games at the county level, but he always seemed to me to lack a wee bit of confidence, but he certainly isn't lacking confidence at the minute. Certainly for Armagh, he was outstanding in the Ulster final and the All-Ireland final. And again, that wee pitch down and Mahary will suit him. We all know how tight it is and how difficult it is to get a result. But if you're 6'6" or whatever Ben is, and the ball's in the air, there's not many people going to be able to beat him to it. And he's good feet, as he's shown in Clones and Croke Park. So, you know what, I think Aidan Falker was maybe missing last week for
he was.
Mahary. And I think by all accounts, Madden got a last-minute goal. And Madden would be one of the tips and favourites. You know, there was a possible goal maybe they could have got that time. Mahary maybe killed the game. So, you know, that's why I believe this is a really, really tough game for Clonerne. But I would say Clonerne are delighted they're going to get a tough game. They'll want to be battle hardened and test the lads that have out in the field.
Yeah, it's certainly one to look forward to. And as I said, it's sort of the main event on Saturday for Armagh TV. It's live at 7 o'clock. And then Madden and St. Peter's playing the next day there on Sunday. And I suppose the big thing for St. Peter's, Barry, is just going to be to try to lift themselves again. Thinking back to last year, I think that they were beat by Clonard in the first round, and they went and possibly drew with Greenmore in the second round. And I think that was the second round. So it's just a case of doing something like that again, trying to lift themselves immediately and trying to get back on the horse.
Yeah, I do, but I think we've talked about teams wanting to top the group. Madden will want to top this group, so they will. We'll go straight into the quarterfinal, and leave it as a must-win game against Clonard. I can see only one result. I think St. Peter's do play very, very defensively, but look, Madden will be well used to that. St. Peter's are very defensive against Clonard, and still were beat by 11 points or whatever it was. So no, I don't think the margin will be as big, but I would imagine Madden will win by 5 or 6.
Yeah, I'm going for that as well. I think Madden will be too strong, and especially on home turf as well. I think this is their only home game, so they'll be looking to lay down a marker. Group D then, we have Ballymacnab against the Harps on Friday night, and Drummondtee against Mullabone at night. Ballymacnab on the Harps will be live on Armagh TV, and there'll be deferred coverage as well of Drummondtee against Mullabone. Two huge games here at two different sides of the table. Obviously, Ballymacnab and the Harps got up and running last week with wins, while Drummondtee and Mullabone again maybe a bit in the back foot here. But Ballymacnab and the Harps, what do you make of this? My guess, this one I don't give much opinion. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I know we were speaking off air, Sean. Obviously, Ballymacnab are missing the two Grugans and Ryan Kennedy, the heartbeat of their team. They've struggled without those lads in 1B this year, and the Harps had a brilliant win away at Mullabone. I don't think it'll be as open as it was against Mullabone, and I don't think the Harps will get as many scores, but you would have to fancy the Harps, considering even if Jack Grugan had been fit, I would have given Ballymacnab a puncher's chance, but I think the Harps might just have too much considering the absentees from Ballymacnab. But if those three guys had been available, I would have went the other way. Ballymacnab at home would have been certainly going for them, but I can see just only one winner here because of the injuries that Ballymacnab have. And
you mentioned just the Harp scores, and obviously putting up 4-12 last week. Barry, they had 9 different scorers. They had their half-back line coming forward. Colin Stevenson scored a point, and Tom O'Kane from half-back. Minnie McShane come on and scored a point. So they have a huge range of scorers. They don't really have maybe a one go-to forward, but they have everybody on the field can sort of score for them.
Yeah. I was really surprised at that result, particularly Mullabone at home. And Mullabone had a decent campaign in 1B. They won it, I think, finished a point ahead of the Clans. Obviously, they didn't have any county men, and they were able to field their full team out every week in the league, which makes a big difference. But I had actually thought that could be one of the surprises, before the ball was thrown in. But they really destroyed them from early on. Mullabone were really, really disappointing. They looked pretty lifeless. Harps had loads of energy, loads of pace, moved the ball really quick. I've seen a couple of interviews after the game, and that's what Pascal Canavan's focusing on, moving the ball fast, and they certainly have a lot of pace in their team. So they were definitely very, very impressive. And on the back of that result, that's what have them in there, maybe in the top 6. And they'll probably, after last week, think they have a chance in the championship, and the way they performed, why not?
And Drummondtee and Mullabone then, again, two teams that lost the first round. Immediately, it's sort of must-win territory. And Mullabone, they'll be sore after last week, having won the league and such a good league campaign to come away by such a heavy defeat. But I suppose Drummondtee, they did get 3 men put off against Ballymacnab last week, so they'll be without them. So I suppose it's Mullabone the favourites this week, Barry, for that game.
I'm not sure. I think the beating that Mullabone took at home, a bit like Killeavy, their management will be expecting a reaction from them. But Drummondtee, I'm just thinking that Drummondtee, the fact that the 3 men sent off and almost beat Ballymacnab, but I just a wee sneaking feeling Drummondtee might get over the line, unless there's a massive turnaround from Mullabon. But sometimes you ship a defeat like that. It's very, very hard to shake it within a week, and that's going to be the job that they face, and Killeavy are going to face this weekend after such big defeats. So no, I think I'll go for Drummondhay on that one.
I think the 5-day turnaround too, I think in Group D, Barry, I think they played at 6:30 last Sunday. They're playing at 7 o'clock this Friday. It's probably tough on teams too with that. Obviously a week turnaround for all teams, but five days for Group D.
It is, and that's difficult if you're beat by so many points, Sean, on Sunday to get yourself sorted for the Friday night. They'll probably have met up on Wednesday, and they'll be looking at a reaction. But that's why I would tip the scales towards Drummondhay. I just think they lost by a point, but the 3 men put off, they'll probably take the positives out of that. So yeah, I'll go for Drummondhay on that one.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of derbies as well this week, which should be interesting. And this is a huge week as well with the final round coming up next week. So we'll be covering everything with previews, with match reports, podcasts, interviews, and everything else. Team of the week has obviously returned too. And our player of the week, Fergal Kieran, was voted for. So congratulations to him. And we'll have our player of the week again on Monday, our top scores charts, everything else for the club championship. All right, great to hear from you. Thanks very much for coming on, and we'll look forward to the rest of the campaign.
Not a problem, Sean. Chat to you soon.
Summit Harlan's through, he might go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot,
Arriving Rian O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score now we're looking for.
Connor Turbin kicks this one in on it.